This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Sean Preston.
Welcome to today's episode of the Good Neighbor Podcast. I suddenly grew a mustache, if you hadn't noticed that. And today we have a great neighbor with us, my partner, co-host of the show, Jeff Gartner. What's up, big guy?
How are you, buddy?
Been waiting a little while to do this.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. I'm in the hot seat. I've been told I need to get in there, and I'm happy to be here today.
Good. Well, I'm happy that you are and ready, because I'm actually going to pepper you with some good questions today. Give everybody an opportunity to see behind the curtain a little bit, which is always nice. And we know you like to go pretty deep in a conversation. So I've been looking forward to this one for a little bit. How's the weekend?
I was sick all weekend, so I was still a little under the weather, but we're getting there. Weather's warming up a little bit. It's a good time to get out of this sickness. All in all, I basically just stayed under blankets and watched movies and played video games.
Nothing wrong with that. I got surprised on the weekend. Julie got me the balloons that you see behind me. Figured I'd use that as a nice little prop. Pretty much got everything you need right there. If you could describe me in 3 balloons, I think you got it.
So what do we got there? We got a beer, we got a video game controller, and then what's the other one?
I guess I'm going this way. I got to go this way. Yeah, we did a lot of that on the weekend. Did a little bit of that. And then, of course, that intertwines with all of that. So
what's the top one?
It's a pink flamingo.
There it is. Yep. I should have known. What's the for? What are they for?
She just surprised me. Random. Just, nothing special. Just, hey, I got you something. Got you something fun. I happened to put little signs all the way up the stairs and then covered them in rose petals. So I actually got her a little surprise on the way back. Just there's no reason for any of it. Just doing it because, you like somebody else or you love somebody else and you want to do something nice for them, make them feel good from time to time. Don't need an occasion for flowers. You know what I mean?
Sean and Julie, relationship to be envious of. Wild Lotus Flowers, people. She's a good woman.
She's coming on the show later today, so we're gonna have some fun with that.
Everybody's coming on the show. It's great, man.
Well, hey, look, today is not about me. Today is about you. And so why don't we dive right into it? Curious to get your version and your take on what it is you do for a living. So why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about your business?
Okay. I guess in the simplest form is there's a stigma out there. Many people think of when they hear the word marketing, they think of all kinds of different things. So let's just peel back the layers of the onion to the core of it. What is it? It's human connection. And that's really what it is. It's taking a message from one person or organization and bridging the gap between them and the person they can impact the most. That's what we do. We are the bridge, and a very effective bridge at that. So we essentially we're message spreaders that needs to be out there a lot. So we use repetition. And then something that we pride ourselves on a great deal is emotional connection. That is the advantage of local small and medium businesses compared to large conglomerates. They don't have that local feel. Our businesses, our clients, the people that we cater to live in the community. They're a part of it. Their kids go to those schools. They play in the churches and they're just a part of the community, charities, whatever it may be. We help local businesses grow by effectively spreading their message to the people they can impact the most. That's what we do.
So if I'm a local business owner, okay, taking my message and spreading my message, like what does that look like?
Oh man. And what we do, what you and I do, I like to think is a step above the vast majority. So there's many different popular playgrounds to play in, sandboxes, playgrounds, whatever you call it. People like to read. They like to be online. They like to watch video. They like to listen. They like to be in person. So we take advantage of all of those avenues. We will take a business's message, put it only out in the community that they serve and they can impact the most, their ideal clients, the people who they're trying to raise the quality of their life, right in their community. We put them online. So you'll find them on Facebook, Instagram, Google, YouTube, our sports website. Then we also do this podcast. So that gives them the opportunity to peel back the layers a little bit and find out who they actually are. That's that emotional connection. Then we have them in a high-end glossy magazine that is basically owned by the community. It's their club. It's their exclusive club. It's all about them, their family, their kids, their wants, their needs, their community. So wherever you find groups gathering is where we are spreading those messages. On top of that, we do networking events. So I like to put it this way. Every viable messaging vehicle in your local community, we are on. Outside of billboards, which billboards have their purpose, I like to think we go a lot deeper than that. As a billboard says one thing, it says, I'm here, buy from me. We want to let the audience know that our clients care first. It's that give until they ask mentality. The currency we are playing with is goodwill. When you go out there and you help somebody without asking for anything in return, the main thing you foster from that is trust. This person cares for me. Want to give first rather than saying, hey, here's a trinket, come buy it. Just think of your own situation. If you just go up to a friend and you just help them because you care about them, what happens with that friend is they now count on you. You're now reliable. They now look at you as a person that they can trust. That is the goal for our clients. That's the goal for spreading an effective messages. Trust. We do that through goodwill. The avenue we choose is that give until they ask mentality. Show them that you care. That's what we're going for.
So before we continue, I'm a big stickler and I like to defend the magazine from people who will get a general idea in their mind the second you say magazine. Oh my God, it's a magazine that died like a long time ago. Maybe shed a little bit of light on that. I always preface before I even ever talk about it. And I think for the listeners, it's good for them to understand that it's not a normal magazine.
No, I mean, listen, I like to let people know that print is the most tried and true form of spreading a message since marketing existed. It's been around the longest period. But that doesn't mean it doesn't need to adapt with the times. As we evolve and we change and our level of connectivity grows and evolves, so do these platforms. So print has struggled in many ways, and there's some variables to this, but I like to consider this the main one. I think you could argue that this is the main one. And where print has struggled, it has been very superficial. It's been this, mile wide, inch deep. And what does that mean? They throw out a very, very wide net. They don't know who is within that net. So they can't give them stuff that's personal and relevant. And those are the two things. When you have personal and relevant, it becomes anticipated. And if people are anticipating your stuff, like Sunday, when Game of Thrones comes out, people are talking about it 5 days before. They can't wait. Yeah. So they are there 30 minutes, popcorn ready. They got the beer in hand. They got the whole group before the show even starts. That's anticipated because that's something that they want. Whereas our magazine doesn't go a mile wide, an inch deep. We go an inch wide, a mile deep. So it's all about, what does deep mean? That emotional connection. It's all about that emotional connection. So our magazines are created by the community. The blueprint for Forest Hill and Victoria Island and South Carolina is the same as Ardagh Bluffs and Midhurst. But as soon as you open those magazines, vastly different, right? It's a family on the front cover every single month that lives there. They're the inside center spread. It's about them, their kids, their needs, their wants, their desires, their life story. It's really storytelling for this exclusive club. So I like to let people know that we use both print and digital. Digital gets you an incredible amount of volume, but it gets very little depth because you think of the experience of the human in that situation. It's very busy. It's very noisy. So they need to be seen a lot. Whereas when you're reading something, those books behind me, I have my phone on silence. I'm not being disrupted. I'm totally immersed into that experience. It's the same with the magazine. There's nothing buzzing or pop-ups, nothing grabbing my attention. I'm going deep into that tangible reading experience. Same is the case with the magazine. So we don't get as much volume on the magazine level compared to digital, but one article can make a huge difference. If you are willing to be open and a little bit vulnerable and really show them who you are and lead by example, one article can make a difference. People can foster a deep connection with you from one article. That is not true with digital. So we combine the two of them. But our magazine has been our flagship. I mean, you know, the proof's in the pudding. This business has been around for 20 years. We're the largest private media company in Canada. We're doing pretty well in the States too, although it's a different animal. And for the first 15 years, we were print only when everybody told us we were crazy to do that. The godfathers of this business, those three partners, they saw something that most people couldn't see. That happened in the recession, 2007, 2008, when North America was falling apart. They built a print business in a world that was crashing and a product that was supposed to be dead. Now we have over 1,200 different publications. What does that mean? 2,500 to 5,000 homes per publication. Just do the math on that. What's 3,000 times 1,200? That's how many homes our magazine goes to every single month. So over time, we thought we could do better. The magazine was enough to build a good business, but we wanted to have more and more and more value. That's why we have the show. That's why we're digital. That's why we're everywhere. We like to believe that there is no one best option outside of one thing: omnipresence. Be everywhere all the time to the people you can impact the most. But the magazine, yeah, it built a massive, massive business. For anybody that says it doesn't work, just dive into our world for 10 minutes and you'll be a believer, trust me. But then we added, 7, 8, 9 other products to spread your message.
Well said, brother. Very nice. And I can echo, the impact that magazine or magazines have in their respective communities. I came across a community member not too long ago who ended up changing her cat's food based off an article that my vet wrote in the magazine. So education's a powerful thing. In this day and age, you can go down any rabbit hole, especially on the internet, and find misinformation, or there's information that's there to shock you, like the news does. And the one thing I say about our magazines, hey, if you're having a bad day, go and read one, because there's nothing divisive in there. There's no religion, there's no politics, there's no alcohol, tobacco, all that stuff. It's just a pleasant read, all designed to connect the community together. So very good. Okay, let's move on. I think most people will be very curious to know, Jeffrey, about your journey. You've been with BVM for over 5 years, and I know about your journey, and I think everybody else will relish in knowing a little bit more behind the curtains. Why don't we peel that back a little bit, bring us into your journey? Where'd you start, and what was your journey like into the day that you got right here on camera?
Yeah, man. I mean, God, where do we start? I will start with personal training, because that's when I first got a taste of entrepreneurship. I love fitness. Anybody who knows me knows that that's a huge part. It is the foundation to my life. I mean, if you feel good, everything's better. If you don't feel good, doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how great that love relationship is. Doesn't matter how good your business is. You just feel like crap. And a lot of our decisions are made, and quality of life is based on how we feel. So fitness is my foundation. It's what my house is built on top of. And when I first went to become a personal trainer, I just wanted to get jacked, be around attractive women, and make money. That was it. Very superficial needs. I was 19. I didn't know my ass from my elbow. But I spent a lot of years in there. And I was very lucky to come across some great mentors in the business and outside of the business. And that's when the seed was first planted to me by one of my mentors. She said, entrepreneurship can be your road to finding out how capable you are, rather than just a paycheck or quote unquote work. A lot of us define work as something we have to do to live. Whereas the way I look at work now, this is what I'm building in this life. Leonardo da Vinci, his painting was his work. That wasn't a negative. That was his passion. That's how he expressed himself. That's how you got to know him and his artistry. So that's when work changed for me. And it was really because of what she said, but more so because of how I impacted people. I didn't know what it was like to help somebody lose 100 pounds. I mean, I wrote in my article for the January edition of Midhurst that there was a 14-year-old kid there, and he came in 420 pounds. And by the time he was done 18 months with me, he was just under 300. Can you imagine being 14 years old and 400 pounds, what bullying would be like, what your life would be like, trying to go talk to a girl or have any confidence at all? So his family got super involved with me. I became very, very close with this guy. I did grocery shopping with him. I helped him cook. I'd like to think that I was an integral ingredient to him changing his life, and that impacted me forever. So that was my first taste of entrepreneurship and what it could be for me. Much more than work, it could be a purpose. I was trying to find who I was and why I was here, essentially. And I learned that for me, the two things that are most important for me and what I consider my purpose is to figure out all that I'm capable of. Like if you use the metaphor of a soaked towel, by the time my last day is here, you wring it out. There's nothing left. I have nothing left to give, and I have nothing left to find out about myself and then share that with the world. If you become a skillful individual because you've really pushed yourself, you've gone into those uncomfortable zones, you will find out incredible things about this body and mind that you've been given, which is pretty much unlimited in my perspective. And then you share it with other people. You help the people that are not as far on the path as you are. You know, you want to use that mountain analogy. You're halfway up. Everybody behind you, you can help get to halfway up. And it's an amazing feeling. So that seed was planted. Then I wanted to make more money because it didn't plant deep enough at that time. I was still superficial and I was still wanting material wealth. I thought cars and money and watches would attract women, which is really what I wanted, would intimidate men, which is really what I wanted. You know, I wanted to be kind of feared by the males, that alpha male, broken mentality, but that's what I wanted. And I thought, you know, I would let my money and cars and all that speak for me when it came to attracting women. Again, another broken mentality, but these are the things I need to go through to get to where I am today. I went into HVAC. It was just a nasty business, not to say the industry is, but where we were was cutthroat. It was manipulative. It was, sink or swim. You have a hell of a paycheck one week and then you're buried the next, and you always felt bad if you had a heart, which I'm thankful to find out that I did, because I felt bad about that work. So I pivoted. I went to firefighting school. I said, no more with this. I want to be in service in some way. Didn't know what else to do. A couple of people were firefighting, and I said, I'll go back to school. I'll learn a skill that maybe I could have for the rest of my life, and it helps people. Can't go wrong. During that time, school was fantastic. I learned about teams, about camaraderie, about sacrifice, about discipline, which I needed in a big way. But unfortunately, during that time, I busted my leg pretty badly. It was nasty, really nasty. So that held me back about a year. I did finish fire college. Unfortunately, the physical exam comes right at the end. The physical side of it, the lifting and the actual physicality of it, I did well in. But then they test your eyes. And I found out that I was colorblind enough to not be accepted into the Ontario Firefighter Association. So I couldn't be a firefighter, and I'm still milking this busted leg. Through that busted leg, there was some very heavy painkillers, which came into my life, and that derailed my life. I was a fit guy at the time, had a pretty strong mentality. I was casted for about 10 months and a cane for another 3 or 4. I was just watching my body melt, which sucked. I became soft and weak. And then these painkillers were in my life every day, which formed a dependency. That was a nightmare. That was really, really tough. So through all of that, what happened is now I have this dependency thing I had to deal with. So I sought out help. Wasn't the type of guy that would ask for help. You know, I was kind of one of those typical men, keep your emotions down. Don't talk about feelings. Don't ask for help. You got it all figured out on your own. And I had nothing figured out. So I sought out help. I got more mentors. And then I found myself in this world, this community of recovery, whether it was people to deal with alcohol or other substances or narcotics, things like that. And I found that these people had some things figured out. They had a level of honesty that I had never seen before. They had a level of vulnerability that I'd never seen before. And those two things resulted into a level of courage that I had never seen before. So spent a few years there figuring out my shit. This is now 28. Finally got to the point where it's like, I don't need so much help anymore. I can start working on myself, eventually lead to helping other people was the idea. So that set me on a path, and that path led to being an addictions counselor on the weekend at Cornerstone Recovery, one of the most fantastic places I've ever seen. Yeah. Again, the people there just fill my cup. I mean, how much we work Monday through Friday. It's all day, all evening, and yet I still go in on the weekends because it's just so damn fulfilling. And you wouldn't think that marketing and BVM and an addictions counselor at a facility like that would intertwine, but they do completely. It's made me a better business person. It's made me a better listener, better communicator, better son, friend, leader. So I continue to go because they both piggyback off each other. In BVM, we have to care about other people. We have to lead by example. We have to be open. We have to be strong enough to be who we really are. I know that authentic self is kind of a buzzword these days, but no other way to describe it. Who are you really? And do you have the courage to show people that, to find out where you fit in the world? I use at the clinic that we are all these unique puzzle pieces. And if you are who you really are, then you'll butt up against somebody else's puzzle piece and you'll find out if you fit. But if you're wearing these masks all the time and you're not who you really are, you don't know where you fit. So just be who you are. And that's what that addiction community taught me. And then bringing that to BVM has developed some of the best relationships in my life. You're a perfect example of that. Our conversations are real. They're not just about, hey, let's get a drink, girls, let's go fast cars and whatever. Like a lot of dudes talk. We talk about real shit. And I love our conversations. So I get that in BVM. I get that fulfillment. BVM teaches me how to be a better counselor. Counselor teaches me how to be a better person and BVMer. And that's kind of the nutshell of my story. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of pain. And it now has led to what I consider much more than work. It's a purpose, and unbelievably motivating and fueling when you can align your values with what you do every day, all day. And that's kind of where I'm at.
Well said again. I think I would echo that 100%. And getting to know you over the last year and a couple months and coming into this business, very methodical, very philosophical in your approach. You definitely have that guiding North Star and a great foundation. Always a pleasure to talk to you. And you always have the right things to say. I can say that this man has talked me off the ledge multiple times, and doing what we do is not easy. Like anything, if it was easy, everybody would do it. We get a lot of misconceptions thrown our way in the world of marketing and advertising, and people can treat you in a way that you don't want to be treated. And so you can only handle being treated that way for so much before you're going to lose it. And you've walked me off the ledge a few times.
It's been a pleasure, though. The fact that you trust me enough to do that is a great honor.
No, 100%. And a great friend as well, too, coming over to my house. And I know you're a big foodie and like to eat good food. And I like to cook good food. So we've had a lot of fun times together, and we'll continue to do so. Okay, so tell me, before we kind of switch gears here, because I always like talking about fun. And I think the audience wants to definitely know what we do for fun and you as well. But tell the listeners a little bit about, some misconceptions when it comes to our business.
That small and medium businesses don't need marketing. I mean, do a little research. I just can't. I know I'm biased because that's what we do, but that's why I do it, because I'm trying to listen. Depending on the study, 75 to 95% of businesses go out of business in the first 10 years. Small and medium businesses drive our economy. Amazon's got enough. Nike's got enough. Apple's got enough. They have enough. And they are experts at marketing. Anytime somebody drops their marketing, they gobble up another unit of mind share, whatever you want to call it. And they're looking for that. They're looking for people to fall off so they can pick it up. And they're just this like hungry hippo gobbling up more and more and more of the market. Let's not let them do that. I got nothing against them, but it's our community that's most important. Let's start where we are. Marketing. What is it? You need two things to grow a business. That's it. Make a great product. Tell everybody about it. Tell everybody about it. Can you do that all on your own? I doubt it. We try it. There's hundreds of us in this company. We can't do it on our own. So I would argue that you can't do it either. Whether it's us or somebody else, you make your own YouTube videos, you have your own podcast, you do your own networking events, whatever it is. But all of that takes time away from you. The most important thing in my life is time. It's that one non-renewable resource. All I know is that the day I was born, I was stamped with an end date. That I know, but I don't know when it's coming. So are you, whoever is listening right now, whatever business owner needs to hear this. You have an end date. So I'll give you a super easy example. Marketing it's not rocket science. It's just tell people about your stuff. There's better and worse ways to do it. Cutting grass isn't rocket science. But why do I get somebody to cut my grass on the weekend? Why do I get somebody to fix my roof? Why do I get somebody to fix my windows? Why do I get somebody to sell my house? Because it gives me back time. And I'm also not an expert at it. So what do I have to do if I do that on my own? I got to learn a litany of new skills. And now I'm a beginner at them, which means I'm going to be shit at them. The first house I try to sell with very little skill is going to go badly. The first window I try to fix with very little skill is going to go badly. What's more important than telling the community about what you do, how you can help them? That's way more important than fixing a window. So don't guess, don't gamble. Just get the experts to help you. Or if you really love marketing, then learn it on your own. But I got to tell you, this is all we do. And I mean, that's just a taste of the books behind me. The vast majority of those are business and marketing. So I live and breathe this. Businesses cannot survive without letting everybody know what they do. And they can't stop doing that. It's not like you can tell everybody one day. Listen, Coke is the most recognizable brand in the world. One of them. Last time I looked at it, they were number one. They spent more on marketing in 2023 than any company ever has in the history of humanity. Why? Because they know how business works. If they stop their messaging, Pepsi comes in, whatever other soda comes in, and they take some of that market away from them. And every day that goes by, Coke will diminish and the other guys will rise. And that's what it is. Why is it that way? Because humans forget. It's just that simple. You're trying to condition the human mind. This isn't a computer. This isn't a robot. It forgets. We have a million things coming at us all day. We have our kids, our lives, our stresses, our passions, our hobbies. All of those things come top priority before your business. There's 100 things in somebody's mind before your business. And that's if you have effective marketing regularly. If you have no marketing, then they don't even know you exist. I love this line. You can have the best product in the world. If no one knows you exist, you have no business. So I would argue that marketing is more important than having a great product. And one of the great things about marketing is it allows your message to get spread out there while you're beginning. It gives you kind of a safety net. People will still buy your stuff, even if it's not perfect. Yeah. It gives you that ability to refine your product as you go, rather than saying, I'm not going to launch anything until it's perfect. No, put it out there. Some businesses, a lot of startup businesses, and especially Silicon Valley, they give you the minimum standard to make a sale. And then they ask the audience how they feel about it. And they say, fix this, fix that, and they tweak. And it's implementing an iteration. So after a year, finally, they got that perfect product. but they've sold a gazillion on the way. Why? Because people knew that they had something to sell. So marketing is the foundation to your business. And it gives you the opportunity to find out what your audience actually likes. Maybe you have to do a whole new product revamp. You only know that by finding out from your audience, by letting them know you have something. So I said a lot of words there. Let's summarize it in this. The common misconception is that small and medium businesses can survive and grow without marketing or word of mouth alone. You can't. There may be some outliers, but bundle up 1,000 businesses and do that experiment. None of them have marketing, all of it based on word of mouth. I bet you 80% or more are going to fail very quickly. Word of mouth simply is a strategy based on hope. Let's think about what that is. I give you a product. I hope I spoiled you. And then I hope that I spoiled you enough for you to tell somebody else in the way I want you to tell them.
Yeah.
That's a lot of guessing. That's a lot of hope. Whereas marketing has the exact message that you want to the exact people that you want. You have full control over the narrative.
And it makes the word of mouth better.
Absolutely. It compounds it significantly. And here's the other misconception is that I'm going to spend $1,500 this month. I expect $1,750 back. If you said that to a financial advisor, if you said that to the stock market, they'd say, you don't understand the stock market. What happens with the stock market? You put your 100, your 500, your 1,000 in every month, and it does one of these. And then it blasts off. Just look at Warren Buffett's stats. I believe, not verbatim, but somewhere around the line of this being accurate, you get the idea is he's made about 90% of his wealth in the last 2% of his investment career. So that tells you that effort compounds over time. The longer you give it, the better you do. 2 years of marketing is not double one. It's more than that. 4 years of marketing is not double two. It's much more than that. 20 years of marketing is not double 10. It's maybe quadruple, 5 times, 6 times. And that's how it works. The stock market is the same thing. You'll produce the vast majority of your results if you're in there for 30 years in the last 3 years. Now, I'm not saying you need to market for 30 years and get no results until the last 3. What I am saying is that simply this. Don't stop spreading your message. Do it early. The earlier you get in the stock market, the more you reap the rewards. Same with marketing. You cannot survive the vast majority without letting people know you exist. Find your target demographic, the people that you can impact the most. Keep letting them know that you're there and that you give a shit about them. And don't stop. And you will grow a very successful business to where the point where you get to answer this question. How much do I want to grow? Do I want to stop? Do I want to keep going? Most businesses don't get to ask that question. They just go week to week, month to month. And that's a tragedy that we are trying to take a dent out of.
Well, it's all education. I think the more you know, the better and more effective you're going to be able to run your business. But I'll echo that. I mean, well said again. But what gets me going, especially lately, is the second that a business owner falls on tough times, I want to cancel all my marketing. I need to start cutting and shaving, and do not touch your marketing. Leave it the way it is. That's an investment in your business that's going to be there to help you get out of those tough economic times. I mean, just think about that. I'm in tough economic times, whatever it is, whether it's in your control, out of your control, the economy is where it is, which in the one we're in, you should be spending more, by the way. Just look at all of the businesses in the past that we can look at that bought other companies because one peeled back, the other one went forward. There's so many examples of that, and you want to cut back on it. It's not a strategic move. And like you said, hope is not a strategy. The amount of businesses we sit down with that take inaction over action, I know one that's not going to survive. I sat down with that person a year ago, and unfortunately, nobody knows that they're there. And that's a big component to it. And then giving people a reason to choose them is the other one.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where that feeling comes into play. Right.
I love this example. I'm falling. So I live 45 minutes away from my everything. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
And I have whatever it is, $500-600 a month for my car. Let's call that expenses, oil change, and then my monthly investment into my car, my monthly pay. Just ask yourself, if you were going on tough times, would you ever stop paying for your car? Would you ever say, I'm going to peel back, I'm not going to have a car anymore? Why do I use this example? Because my car is the answer to getting me more business. If I can't drive there, I have no access to the world. That is what your marketing is. Look at it in that way. If you treat it as a necessity, like your car, you may be able to peel back a little bit. But as soon as you cut off that bridge, you now have no connection with the outside world. That is what your marketing is. It's a bridge between you and everyone you can help. My car in this example is the same way. If I can't get to Sean, can't help Sean. If I can't get to my community, my mom, my people, I can't help them. That is what your marketing is. You would never think for a nanosecond, I'm on tough times right now, I'm going to stop paying for my car. You wouldn't, because that is the information we have out there. Our car is a necessity. I need it to access the world. Marketing should be looked at in the same way. For the vast majority of us, it is your access to the world. It's the bridge between you and the people you can help. Peel it back a little bit. But in my business, we spend a lot on marketing, more than most of our clients. And we are a marketing business. We market everywhere. We are practitioners of what we preach. We spend a lot of money on what we market. We aren't just telling people about theories and advice. We use the same tools. I would never peel back my marketing. I mean, you and I would have to be so bad off. I would be probably considering closing the business if I was thinking about stopping my marketing. It's that serious for us. So I'd peel back on something else. I would peel back on, my gym membership. I would peel back on my expenditures in other ways, my pleasures, to get through the tough times, because marketing is that foundation we talked about. It's a necessity. You wouldn't stop making your product if you went on hard times. Why would you stop spending on marketing your messaging?
So you're working hard, helping people, working on the weekends. I know for the time being, as we're building this, like you said, you wanted to get time back, and that's a very important thing for you. And as we keep moving forward, you're going to gain more and more of that time back. So what do you like to do for fun when you have that time back?
I like to go to your place. You and Julie just put smiles on my faces, man. I mean, you guys are incredible hosts. I'm not just saying this for the audience. I mean, there's a reason why him and I are partners. It's not just because he's a deadly business person. That's third, fourth, fifth on the priority list. It's you're just a great dude, man. But I love people. People are my thing. I said my purpose in life was to find out all that I'm capable of and then share it with other people. So, self-realization, and then help other people move towards self-realization. But my passion is people, human potential, conversations, deep conversations. I love to learn. I love reading. It really is fun for me to have a question in my head, like a door that's locked. And it's like, if I read this thing, I could get the key and go into this place I haven't been before. I look at it like a video game. Like you literally go seek out knowledge or this new weapon or tool to unlock this new world. That is what learning is to me. That's what books are and courses are to me. But when I'm just chilling, love watching a movie. I love going to sporting events, love eating, having a couple of drinks, but preferably around great people that just know me and that are confident enough in themselves to just be themselves. That's my only, not even expectation, just want, is that people are comfortable enough with themselves to just be who they are. You want to be around in fat pants and hooded sweatshirts and a toque on and your hair's all messed up. Like, I dig it. That's what I'm looking for. Not your perfect self, just who you are. So yeah, I mean, I love entertainment in whatever ways. That could be music. Again, that could be vids, that could be movies, but travel is fantastic. Oh, the gym. Can't believe I forgot about the gym. That's a great deal of fun for me. And I've really been digging personal development these last 6-7 years, whether it be meditating, reading, doing a little bit of cold plunge or hot saunas. So, temperature exposure, learning about new foods and nutrition and sleep patterns. But all of that comes after people. I just dig people. And that's why the first thing I said was going over to your place. It's just this comfortable environment. I can wear whatever I want. I can just be me, and everything else just doesn't matter. We can do whatever. I could just be making a meal. People, man. People are my fun. Camping, but with people.
Yeah, definitely. September, we're going to have you up to do some camping. That's going to be a lot of fun. And we never really hung out at my place in the summertime, if at all. It just came recent after the snow started to fly here. So we're going to definitely continue that fun. And thanks a lot for sharing that. So knowing you, knowing me, if the people are starting to get to know us, and me knowing you as well as I do, I ask you a question and we'll go on and on and on. But for the sake of respecting people's time on this podcast, quickly tell me, you described about it. If that's the one, describe me a challenge or a hardship that you went through. How did you overcome it? Was that the painkillers that you went through?
Yeah. That's substance dependency. I mean, it's just a nightmare beyond nightmares. You can be the strongest person on the planet and it just sucks the soul right out of you. So I had no idea that was coming. I just did what my doctor said. And brutal. Took me out of the game for 3 years anyways. And then, getting my life back together for another 3 years. So let's call it 6. But through that, I had to learn about myself. And that's the thing. Like, people ask me now when I'm talking about it, if you could go back, would you not go to that doctor? It's like, no, absolutely not. This was maybe the most integral ingredient to me enjoying my life as much as I do now. I had to go up against that dragon and slay it. I had to face that big, nasty boss to recognize who I was at that time, a person not in line with values, not living a life that was good for me. So I had to get that gut punch and go through that ridiculous amount of suffering to face it. So through that, I learned a lot of very valuable skills, which made me a more effective human. But most importantly is I came out of that enjoying who I am actually the most. So that was an integral ingredient. And I now look at it with gratitude. And that's why I talk about it as much as I do. Our hardships aren't something to be shamed and stuffed down. There's something to be, it's like worn as a badge. These scars are, they're a part of me.
And some people don't ever, the dragon slays them. They don't get to come out on the other side of that. So it just goes a testament to your will and your character as a human being.
Thanks, man.
Be able to go through
Appreciate
that,
it.
right? So, okay. So tell the listeners one thing that you wish that they knew about your business.
Yeah, I said it before. I'm gonna stick with that. Is that marketing for small and medium businesses is something you should think about down the line, 5 years, 10 years.
It works.
Yeah. Like, we wouldn't be doing this. We wouldn't have this. We wouldn't have succeeded in the ways we have. And there's so much to grow, and we're not the best. I'm not saying that, but we're doing really well. Why? Because we have a product that works, but we educate along the way. There's a lot to marketing. There's a lot of psychology to it. Again, you're trying to condition the human mind. That's not easy to do. And there isn't an exact science to it, but we've seen what's worked over so long. We have 65,000 active customers right now across our company. That is an incredible amount of data. So we see what works. We tweak it constantly. A new product every 6 months to 1 year is coming out. We're never stopping, constantly adapting. So marketing works. The best businesses in the world that are burnt in your mind are burnt in your mind for one reason, not two, one. They have very effective marketing. You wouldn't even know who Coca-Cola was without their marketing. You wouldn't know. Nike was selling shoes out of a trunk of a car. Read Shoe Dog or watch their movie. You wouldn't know who they are just because they had a good shoe. They told everybody about it. Market yourself. Let people know how much you can help them.
Wonderful, man. Very nice. And so if anybody here listening is interested in possibly wanting to get to know you a little bit more, want to know about how you can put an effective marketing strategy for their business and help them grow, lead, and dominate in their local market, how would they reach out to you?
Well, we got our Midhurst magazine. So that's Midhurst Neighbours. Best way to connect if you're not in that community, as we help much more than just Midhurst, much more, really focused on Simcoe County, but really we're North American wide. So for the people in Simcoe, best way to get to find out more about us is go to our Good Neighbor podcast website, gnpmidhurst.com. We're on YouTube. We're on every possible podcasting platform, Spotify, Google, Apple, iTunes. You can also find us on Facebook, Midhurst Neighbours on Facebook. Just type that in. We're on Instagram, Midhurst Neighbours on Instagram. So we're all over the place. LinkedIn, you can just type in my name, find me there. All kinds of different ways to contact us. But really check out the podcast, because that's where you can really find out about myself, Sean, on a much deeper scale, why we do this. This isn't to make money for us. That's a great part. But I look at this much more as a purpose. I think about my impact as a human being, doing what we do now. When my final day comes, I can feel pretty good that my intentions was to help as many people as possible.
And there he is, the great, going deep, phenomenal Jeff Gartner. Really happy to be able to get to do this with you, buddy. I've got the best seat in the house. I get to be working alongside you. And like you said before, he puts his phone on do not disturb, and he makes me dial the phone twice for it to ring through when I need to get a hold of him. But all good shit, all good fun stuff. Really happy to have you on the show. Let you tell your story. You're an incredible human being. I'm happy to be a part of it, bud.
Yeah, man, it's just been a blast. Get to know you as well. This is just the most fun I've ever had in my career. And thanks for putting me in the hot seat, man. You're a hell of a host. Appreciate it.
Thanks, buddy. Talk to you later.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast Midhurst. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpmidhurst.com. That's gnpmidhurst.com, or call 705-413-3775.